Welcome back, Fast and Furious fans. This is Let's Be Real Brad. Today on our weekly Fast and Furious reviews, we'll be talking about the fifth installment in this franchise with 2011's Fast 5. It is a direct sequel to the 2009 Fast and Furious film that is once again being directed by Justin Lin. So this shouldn't be a hot take here, but Fast 5 is the best Fast and Furious film, no question. Universal was able to revitalize this franchise and turn the Fast and Furious movies from the street racing car culture to action heist movies with this big blockbuster scale to these movies. So let's get right into the positives first, and we're gonna go with the visual effects. The visual effects are simply tremendous in this movie. The practical and CGI elements just blend in seamless. There are times you have no idea what is actually CGI and what parts of it are practical effects. All the car racing sequences are simply great. They were just non-stop in every moment of this movie, especially with the opening action scene and the final climax action scene that were some of the best of the entire franchise. But what is even better in this movie are the incredible fight scenes. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and The Rock take over this movie with their choreography and being able to do a lot of the fighting scenes. The fight between Dominic Toretto and Luke Hobbs is definitely one of my favorites of the entire franchise. It's so brutal and tense, and you can tell that these two actors are actually doing the fighting. I thought the emotional scenes were great, the action scenes were great, and he was able to helm exactly what he wanted for this franchise to be bigger, bolder, and just more exciting. I will say the editing is definitely a big improvement over the last film, but it still has a lot of issues. First of all, the editing at times looks pretty solid for able to capture all of these action scenes, especially when they're driving around in the cars. Then there are times where it's so choppy and there's like an edit every single second. The music by Brian Tyler is easily the best of the franchise. He ramped up this movie and just made it explosive in every single scene he could. The action scenes literally would not be as good without Brian Tyler's great score. We changed from the street racing and car culture to this action heist movie, and I think it blended in so well with these characters. But what I like so much about this one is that we got all the characters from all these different movies that we've seen so far. You don't really need to take time to develop them because we already know them. Justin Lin has stated in interviews that he wanted to be able to have Dominic Toretto have a deeper and a more emotional arc in the previous film, but obviously that didn't happen. So when they threw it into this movie, there was a great scene that was able to happen between Dominic Toretto and Brian O'Connor talking about their respective dads, and I thought it was one of the most charming scenes of the whole film. I also think the dialogue is very serviceable as well, as I do think it's the best script of this entire franchise. You don't get any boring, stupid dialogue. Well, the last positive I have with this movie is the acting. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and the introduction of The Rock to the franchise are all really good in this movie. Sure, the acting is nothing amazing and you can definitely criticize them, but for an action movie, well, a stupid action movie, I thought it was all good for what they were going for. I love everyone in this movie, especially Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce, who is easily one of my favorite characters of the whole entire franchise. But what made this franchise so much better is the introduction of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Luke Hobbs. Luke Hobbs is such a great character because he's this old school, hard-nosed FBI agent who is the top of the line, gonna get stuff done, and he doesn't care what it takes to take out this crew, and he was perfect in this movie. I loved every single scene that he was in, and he was able to offer that energy, spice, and excitement to this franchise that we needed. I still love the camaraderie between Vin Diesel and Paul Walker in these movies. You definitely feel that friendship grow beyond the screen, and it just feels so natural, especially as we go along in these movies. So let's get into some of the negatives that I do have with this movie, and it's gonna start with the pacing. The first and third act are simply incredible, but once we get to the second act, it is very inconsistent. There are many moments where it's extremely boring. Some scenes go on for way too long. My last negative is that some of the dialogue is pretty bad. For me, I don't mind as much because all these movies don't have the most incredible dialogue, and I know that going in. But when you rewatch these movies after not seeing them for a while, they do stand out a lot more, and you're just like, damn, this dialogue isn't all that great. Overall, this is the best Fast and Furious film because it is able to capture all the great action, direction, performances, and just have a great story. This movie is simply ridiculous, over the top, and that is exactly what I wanted from this franchise and from this movie, and I think it delivers. This movie has tons of rewatch value, just like the other ones that are left in this franchise to cover, and that's why I'm giving Fast 5 a 7 out of 10. Before you check out the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so you never get to miss a new video. I'll see you guys in the next one.